Hey, this is Matt. Once again, we're about to another video. This is another request. This time a paid request from Tony. They do so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, if it's a review, reaction, topic, randomness, I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. You can feel free to request it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is an interesting topic where he wanted me to compare 1989 to 1998 in terms of water movies, underwater movies. What I mean by that is, in 1989, there are quite a few underwater horror films or sci-fi films, but the three he mentioned were Leviathan, Deep Star 6, and The Abyss. And to compare that to 1998, where you had other water type of sci-fi or horror movies like Virus, Deep Rising, Sphere, and to compare the two and which do I like more. So in order to do that, let me talk about each one individually before I get into the versus aspect. Well, after I did a drink of water. Now, Leviathan, start with 89. People already know my feelings on this. I love this film to death. This is one of my all-time favorite movies because, not only because it's a childhood favorite, but this is my kind of film. I love the cast. I love the cast of characters. Peter Weller, Richard Crenna, Hector Elizondo, Amanda Pace, Ernie Hudson, Daniel Stern, Michael Carmine, Meg Foster. Excellent cast. Awesome underrated score by Jerry Goldsmith. I like the effects. A lot of people make fun of the effects that Stan Winston and his crew came up with. I like the practical effects, the makeup effects. It's a slow burn, but with that slow burn, I'm enjoying all the other aspects of it. I'm enjoying this cast of characters. I enjoy the lines of dialogue. You told me Becky one more time, six-pack, won't pop your tops. All six of them. I enjoy the camaraderie and the banter they have with each other. I love the blue-collar tone and feel to it. Ron Cobb, who worked on films like Alien. I like the set design of the underwater station that they worked at. Is there a mining crew? Yeah, a lot of satisfying moments. Go on, bitch, we're still here. Say, ah, motherfucker. Meg Foster, the queen bitch of the sea, the knockout punch, better. A lot better. Like, that's a satisfying moment. Yes, Ernie Hudson should not have died in the film. That's the one thing I would change out of it. The second one, they get weapons, use them a bit more against the creature. Like, if there's other creatures, have Peter Weller burn one, or Ernie Hudson, have Ernie Hudson get the flamethrower and burn one. We're talking dirty. A little bit more of that action-wise, but those are really my two qualms. Other than that, I immensely enjoy the film. Getting the knockout punch at the end, satisfying smile on my face. Jerry Goldsmith, I would say his most underrated musical score. Even the way it opens with this whale sounds mixed in with the score and Leviathan and the way like the red pops up from the titles or rising up and these weird rings, bubbles throughout the water. I just love so much about Leviathan. I can watch it any time. And of these six films he mentioned, it's my favorite for all those reasons and more. Deep Star 6, I like. It's okay. I would give that maybe 3 out of 5 stars. Like, for me, this is 5 out of 5. That's how much I love it. Well, yeah, fine. That's not for you. But this is for me. That's how much I love this film. It's one of my favorites. For all those reasons. I think it's an underrated movie. I love it to death for what it is. It's my kind of creature feature flick because I really like the cast and the group of characters. And then all the other stuff is extra trimmings. Deep Star 6 is okay, but I don't like the cast as much compared to this. Although I think Miguel Ferrer does a really good job in that. That's a film that's also a slow burn, but this is a slow burn, but it's still part of the plot where we get to know the area, the characters, and then boom, we have the situation happens, finding it. It's in the vodka. In this, it feels like it's one movie where they have to go rescue this group of people who are ready to get fall down the fucking cliff. Granted, that's caused by this creature, but it feels like it takes a while for it to get going to being a creature feature flick, if that makes sense. And that is a movie that I do see some cheapness. I mean, the fucking finale where it's you can easily tell is a back screen. It's a fucking background for this tank. At the end, they shot at a tank, and the background is clearly fake with a fake sky and fake painted clouds that Bob Ross probably painted. The creature has grown on me. The creature has grown on me with the look of it and the effects of it, and I think it's more the design. It's a kind of a cool design. Yes, the monster at times looks like something that would be fighting Godzilla, but the design is appealing, and it's still practical effects, and there's still a charm to that compared to like people talk shit about these effects. I disagree. I can understand with Deep Star 6. And in the score, Harry Manfredini, there are times in a lot of his scores that still feel a bit like Friday the 13th. Of course, Sean S. Cunningham directed it. But I still I'm a sucker for those underwater movies with how they filmed it. And, the cast is fine for what they had to be. I remember the lady, she would be in The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren the same year, 1989. And listen, I like Miguel Ferrer. Rest in peace, good actor. There's some decent gore. I like the death of Snyder. Yeah, him being imploded as he's going too far. Like, he's going too quick up in this deep pod and just implodes. And you see, like, veins, blood popping out of it. There's an accident and someone... Nice practical blood squib from this explosion because someone has one of these explosive charges accidentally hits someone. There's a nice nasty effect where someone's in this suit, a creature rises up, and then you see it cascading around, and it's been bitten in half. So there's some nice, fun moments. And it's still entertaining to watch on its own. But I do feel this beats it with the effects, the score, the cast, the lines of dialogue. Things of that nature. And The Abyss I enjoy. I actually enjoy the theatrical cut more. Now, let me put it this way. I wish there was a version that had all the special edition stuff except the ending. Because the ending of The Abyss, I like the theatrical cut more. I like that it's more mysterious in the theatrical cut. You don't quite know all about these aliens, and the fact it becomes just the day the earth stood still, it's a word of warning, stop fucking around, we're gonna... No, I like that. Don't have someone tell us, let us figure it out ourselves, and these aliens are kinda... They do something good for good's sake. And just the fact that they exist is the wake-up call. Oh shit. That type of thing. Because again, it just comes off as a... again, rip off of The Day the Earth Stood Still, The Rising of the Seas. I never liked that in the special edition. It comes off as preachy. That's the word I'm looking for. It comes off as preachy. It didn't feel like that in the original cut. They saw Ed Harris was in trouble. Hey, we're going to help you. Or, hey, this thing's probably dangerous. Ed Harris saved us. We stood by to see what was going to happen. You saved us. Let's take you back up. Never minded that simplicity. A lot of people did though, but I didn't. If someone took the special edition of The Abyss and then have the theatrical ending cut, then I would love to see that version. But I like The Abyss. I like the love story aspect. I like the score. I think James Cameron, it's I would say his most underrated film. This is my favorite film of his, and then True Lies. But I think The Abyss is his most underrated. I think the effects hold up well. The underwater photography is beautiful. Ed Harris and oh, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. I can never pronounce her name right. I liked their love story. I thought they worked well together. Michael Biehn thought did a nice job as the villain. There's some good set pieces. You tell the budget was put on screen. Of course, the effects of the using the water to create the faces, that was definitely an early stage of CGI that was revolutionary, especially for the time. But I quite like The Abyss. I think The Abyss is a solid film, and again, anytime I watch the theatrical cut because I like the ending to that more. I know I'm alone in that. Everybody else likes the special edition ending. I like the special edition of the Aliens, but again, I think the theatrical cut ending just was simpler and more satisfying to me. But I like The Abyss. I've always liked The Abyss. I think there was a point in my life I went, I don't know when it was in my life. I went, I'm not sure. Is this as good as I remember? You know, and that's the thing. None of those films, even The Abyss, didn't do that well when it came out. Like Leviathan bombed, Deep Star Six bombed. Leviathan, Deep Star Six were made because they thought The Abyss was going to be a horror film. Because he did the Terminator, he did Aliens, so The Abyss is mysterious. It must be a horror film, but it's underwater, and so that's why these films were more horror. But no, they're more ET, and maybe that's why this is my favorite because it's horror, creature feature, R-rated, but it's also well done. It's kind of like the cast and technical prowess that I see well in The Abyss, but the R-rated creature feature of Deep Star Six. So it's kind of a nice blending of the two. In the middle, you get this guy. So, but I liked all three. Now, 1998, I like Sphere for what it is. I don't love Sphere. I do think it's a bit too long, a bit too lengthy, but I like the ideas. I like the cast: Dustin Hoffman, Samuel Jackson. I think Sharon Stone does fine. I think it's a good technical movie to watch. The insight of the inside of the spaceship, not spaceship, but well, there is a spaceship, or so they think, and then you have the sphere. But then their station that they're at underwater. I think the cast work well. I think there's some interesting conversations to be had within the film. I think it was deemed as a creature feature horror film, which was a mistake because it's not. It's more of a thriller playing mind games with you, so to speak. And yeah, I like Sphere. It is lengthy, but don't go expecting an action film and don't go in expecting a creature feature film because it's not either of those. But Dustin Hoffman, I think, does a good job. It's one of my favorite roles of his, actually. Because Dustin Hoffman doesn't get to do that kind of film much, so it's nice to see him do that in a change of pace. One of the reasons why I love him in Outbreak. I think he's a good actor. He just doesn't get to do that many type of roles like that. So it's a nice change of pace. But yeah, I like Sphere. I don't want to say too much of it because I think I reviewed that, but I'm always open to re-reviewing stuff. You know me. And of the three of 1998, Deep Rising is easily my favorite. I love Deep Rising. I think it's a fun creature feature flick. Yeah, the CGI isn't the best, to be fair, but I'm having so much fun. There's a lot of other practical stuff. I like the design of the creatures, and I like the has a good, fun, action-packed tone by Steven Sommers, who would go on to direct The Mummy. Treat Williams, great choice as a lead. Again, another actor that doesn't get to do that too much. He did it in the Substitute sequels, but to be a big-budget creature feature, I mean, he's on a jet ski, shooting with a shotgun, blowing up doors, open up elevator doors. There's a creature that grabs him. What are you looking at? Shoots the shit out of his eyeball. Pretty badass moments. And like the jet ski, the action bits are well done practically. And it's a fun ride. I like the idea. He's this driver of this boat. He's taking this group of people, finds out that they're asshole mercenaries, but they're supposed to rob this big old ship, but there's a better name for it, this cruise ship, but finds out everyone is gone, and then they're trapped on this big ship with these creatures all around. It's kind of I think it's a cool concept. You know, take a fuck big fuck all ship, this creature that will suck the liquids out of you. Interesting. You get some nice nasty gore. Like one gets spit up and half his face is gone, or they find this hallway littered with bones, but they're all mushy, like mushy blood and gunk and pus and all on the corridors. And then there's some nice practical stuff, like in that scene where the walls start rippling, like a tin can you're crushing, and if you're on the inside, you see it just trying to break through, and the metal cascading. You these big guns, which are fun. I forget what kind of guns they name the guns, but it's like a gun with like a rotator, like it was a minigun. You get some nice kick-ass firepower because of that, where they just shoot the shit, and you see guns of the creature's tentacles flying everywhere. I like the sense of humor. Was it Kevin J. O'Connor, who's with Treat Williams? Some people were annoyed by him. I wasn't. I thought he was a fun character. Was it Pantucci, the character's name? Famke Johnson, who would be Jean Grey in the X-Men movies of the 2000s. She was good in that as well. She worked well with Treat Williams. And Treat Williams got to be a badass. Got to be a horror, gory, action, sci-fi flick. And to me, Stephen Sommers' best film, still. And it's sad they didn't get Treat Williams interviewed on the Blu-ray. They did get quite a few people, but there's a written interview. Treat Williams said he's proud of the film, so maybe just doesn't do on-camera interviews, or he was busy. Maybe he was busy. But, yeah, love Deep Rising. And Virus is a piece of shit. Fucking hate Virus. You want to see a better version of Virus? Go watch Moontrap. Has the same idea of an alien force using people for spare parts. And there's parts of the movie where you have the person who's made up of metal, but also, like, they use the person for spare parts. Only that's on the moon, and this is in the sea. But Moontrap, to me, is a better movie. Virus has good effects. That's it. Other than the effects, Jamie Lee Curtis has nothing to do in that film. And you watch that film, Jamie Lee Curtis does nothing in that film. She does nothing. She's the star of the film. You know, Halloween, Terror Train. Like, she does nothing. She doesn't really fight the evil alien force machine. There's a point that she's being tortured and hung up, and which trying to remember which Baldwin was it. Daniel Baldwin? It's not Alec Baldwin. It's not Adam Baldwin. It's not Stephen Baldwin. William Baldwin was in. Or was it William Baldwin? Maybe it was William Baldwin. Yeah, Daniel Baldwin, I think, was in John Carpenter's Vampires. So yeah, I think this is William Baldwin. Yeah, because Billy. Because Billy, what's Billy gonna do? Hey, Billy? Yeah, William Baldwin. Was it like the star of Fair Game with Cindy Crawford and Billy Baldwin. There's a point I remember where he's with Donald Sutherland, and you do that, and like as if he's going to warn him. You heard me. Like, it's a really shitty way of trying to stand tough to Donald Sutherland. I'm like, you got punked out by Donald Sutherland, Billy. Come on, Billy. And it did some good gore, like, creature effects. But the cast of characters, Billy Baldwin was Bland Baldwin. Jamie Lee Curtis didn't have shit to do. The ending really is more this other guy who was the more interesting character, not Billy, not Jamie Lee Curtis, but this other guy who should have been the hero of the movie, honestly, because he's the more interesting, where he went crazy and or kind of crazy, and he made up this bomb and stuff. I'm like, make him the fucking star. He's black. He must die. Well, fuck that shit. Change it. Give Jamie Lee Curtis something to do. She's the star of the fucking movie. Imagine Aliens. Ripley didn't do shit at the end. It was Newt that fought the Queen, and Ripley was just there with the thumb up her ass. I'd be like, what the fuck? So William Baldwin wasn't that interesting and tough. Jamie Lee Curtis didn't do shit. The story, I don't remember. The direction, John Bruno, the director, he was more of an effects guy and a show taste. Because the effects are the one thing that stands out. And if you enjoy it on that aspect, I can understand. I don't think Virus is one of the worst movies ever. I just think it's a lame movie with everything but the effects. So if you're asking me like this whole point versus 1989 wins by far, because 1989 I liked all three of those movies. 1998 I fucking hate Virus. So 89 has three movies I like. 1998 it's only two movies I like. 1 point to 89. Number 2, out of all of them, Leviathan is my favorite. What year did that come out? 89. So again, there's another point to 89. Number 3, with these films, for the most part, it's practical. Practical, practical, practical. Now, there is practical in the 98, but including Virus. But even then, with some of the other aspects, there's some CGI mixed in there because it is 98, and there's not a lot of CGI, I guess, in Sphere. There's not really any room for it, though, because it's more of a thriller. Deep Rising, I love the film, but there's a lot of CGI in that. Virus, there's some CGI mixed with the practical robot-human combinations. Again, that's one of the best aspects of Virus. So, maybe it's not as CGI fueled as I'm thinking of. I guess I was thinking more Deep Rising. While 89 is much more practical, aside from some of the technical aspects of The Abyss. But again, when I look at 89, I look at 98, Deep Rising I enjoy. Like, if you're asking me to rank them, I would go Leviathan, Deep Rising, The Abyss, Deep Star 6, and then Virus. Oh, I forgot about Sphere. There you go. So it'd be Leviathan, Deep Rising, The Abyss, Sphere, then Deep Star 6. Wait. Leviathan, Deep Rising, The Abyss, Sphere, Deep Star 6, and Virus. So, of the top 3 films of those I like, 2 of them are from 89. That's another point to 89. And also, I was trying to think of this versus, like, how do I do the versus? Because do I do, like, one versus the other? Because, like, Leviathan versus Virus, which maybe that'll be the thumbnail. And people go, Leviathan. Easy answer, I win. There you go. The thing with the 1989 movies, there's a bit more, I was going to say creativity, but it still has that 80s look and feel to them, if that makes sense. Compared to a film in 1998, even then, it still has that 80s feel, 80s tone, 80s dialogue, 80s look to it, which is more appealing, and I can't put my finger on it. It's hard to describe, whether it's the cinematography, whether it be color timing, whether it be how, what kind of film they shot on, or the way those films are lit. And each one of those films in '89, they're in a very enclosed spot, whether it be Ed Harris and them in The Abyss and things are going haywire, or even Deep Star Six. They're all in this giant tin can that creates a sense of claustrophobia. And you're like trapped in here, and if something happens, you could be imploded and crushed. And that kind of helps with the environment and atmosphere of the movies. While in those films, Virus and Deep Rising, they're on a ship, so it's more free. So yeah, you know, in the ship, but still doesn't have as much of that claustrophobic feeling as the films in '89 because they are underwater. And if something happens, they could drown, and all these other added obstacles for the characters compared to, I mean, of the 398, I would say Sphere has that. And I mean, it was really, I guess I could have done this in less than 2 minutes. If you're saying '89 versus '98, '89 has Leviathan, so '89 wins because of that. No, there you go. That's why. And then '98 has Virus, and that's why that loses. And maybe that's why I'll do like Leviathan versus Virus. Leviathan is in '89, so '89 wins, and '98 his Virus, so '98 loses. Simple as that. But I wanted to give a bit more as to, you know, each of these films and what I like and dislike about them. But it's an interesting topic. It's an interesting idea. Interesting how almost 10 years later there's another realm of water-related series of flicks on the in '98. I think another reason that was done was because, well, maybe people heard Titanic was being made and they thought, okay, James Cameron, it took long to make that film and all the hubbub of the effects and the budget, but because of James Cameron, they thought, well, maybe we can do our own film. Do we have something dealing with the water, on the water, whether it's a hit or a flop, we could capitalize on it. And granted, Deep Rising was supposed to come out in '97, but the fest got delayed, so it came out in '98. So sadly, it got delayed. If it was supposed to come out like I think the summer of '97 or something. It was going to come out before, you know, Anaconda and Mimic and Speed 2, but because it got delayed because whoever did the effects fucked up the first time, then it came out in '98 January. So after they already had the creature features with Anaconda and Mimic. They already had the boat movies like Speed 2 and fucking. Um, was Virus '98? I thought Virus was '99. Now that I think about it, does he mention '98? Was Virus '90? I thought Virus was '99. I just realized that. I just took his word for it because, like, okay, he said '98. When did Virus come out? Maybe it was '98. Didn't even think about that till now, like 30 minutes in. Yeah, it says '99. Yeah, it says '99. Well, I guess he meant like '98. Well, January '99. So around the same time. So it's pretty much the same. Wow, that came out January as well, huh? Just like Deep Rising came out January '98. Interesting. Well, maybe not that interesting, but huh. Reviewers point out similarities with the 1998 film Deep Rising. Huh. Huh. Go figure. So I guess technically it's a '99 film, but close enough. But yeah, this wins all the way for the reasons I mentioned. I don't really know what else to say it. Hopefully this video suffices. like I said, Leviathan for me, tits ass. D Rising is number 2, and then The Abyss number 3. I know you like Leviathan more than the Abyss. I know. I can't help it. I do. I like The Abyss, but this is more of the creature feature and the cast. I just, come on. Go on, bitch, we're still here. It's pretty classic to me. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.